What's the channel?
Twitch.tv/Rivals of Waterdeep. So
Okay.
yeah, I just tweeted
There
it
we go.
out. I
Okay.
just tweeted it out
There
on
we
the
go.
thingy-mabob and the thingamajig and the
The
thingamajig.
thingamajiggy jiggy.
Yeah.
There you go.
Speaking of thingamajig, I don't know if you guys saw me tweeting, but I started watching The Masked Singer
Oh
I
for the
was
yeah.
first
just
time.
gonna
Oh yeah,
say,
yeah,
Which
yeah.
I'd never seen before, but like
So you watch
just want.
season two?
So Comcast on Demand did not have season one.
Oh,
They only had season two and only a couple episodes.
oh,
So we watched a
look,
couple and then skipped right to the holiday
oh,
semifinals.
sure.
Uh, Show is kind of dope.
It
It's
is.
kind of dope.
It
Yeah,
is.
but let me just check that our audio's good, and then I think people should be able
I'm
to
gonna quickly
Do
hear.
you know who the thingamajig is?
play.
Yes, we are good. Yes, I do,
Okay.
and Laura guessed it.
Yeah, I knew it. I knew it from his first clue.
No, no, Laura actually got it from the voice from
Oh,
the
oh,
oh
wow,
wow.
wow. Okay,
yeah, yeah,
okay.
yeah, and but I did get the I got Sherry Shepherd though. Like I did get
Oh,
that.
word. Oh, okay.
Nice.
I just
I
put it
did
in
not.
Discord so people see that
Nice.
too.
Yeah,
Okay.
cool.
Fox, the Fox was in season two, right?
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. The
Yeah,
Yo,
fox.
yeah.
why did he look just like Fox McCloud? Yo, he had like the
Yes.
thing on his eye and
Mm-hmm.
everything. I was like,
Yep.
Yeah.
yo, somebody in the dressing room is a Nintendo fan for sure.
Yep.
All right, so hello everybody. I don't think we have
Hi.
anyone. Oh no, we got
Hey.
a couple people in the chat.
Oh, word.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, just retweet the Rivals Twitter. I put it on there.
Hmm.
Yeah, so we just wanted to have a little stream, just to have something for everybody that's cooped up in the house. I checked all the audio, so we should be fine. But if anybody can't hear people or something like that, just
Nobody
let us know.
notices anything.
Yeah, yeah, I think it's good. Yeah, because this is my first time doing like a XSplit broadcast plus Zoom and all that stuff in a while.
Ah, okay.
But now I have a computer that can handle that, so it's good. It's getting ready for Doom Eternal.
There you go. You got a
I
couple more
promise. I
days.
promise we
Hmm.
are not. Yeah, I'm doing Doom and Animal Crossing simultaneously on the 20th.
Oh my
Nice.
gosh.
So yeah, we just wanted to have a stream just talking about our experiences with D&D, our thoughts about Rivals, how the current season's going, thoughts about uh, previous seasons, and of course, to ask Latia about her experiences because she
I'm
has
here now.
some cool experiences, that I'm sure she wants to share as well, and like what like she brings to the crew.
I'm a very boring person. This is gonna be bad.
I'm gonna shine the light on Latia's face. The Inquisition starts. Latia Bryant,
It's me.
uh, do you want to talk a little bit about, how long you've been playing, what all that kind of stuff?
Oh boy. Well, I've been playing probably since right after high school, so
Hmm.
probably
2 weeks.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. No, probably 15 years or so.
Ooh,
Hmm.
Mm.
man.
Yeah, my 15-year reunion would be this year.
Oh wow. Of
Uh
of D and D, I didn't realize D&D have reunions like that. But
yeah,
that's
yes,
dope.
yes. I went
Okay.
to a very specific high school where it was
Okay.
nothing but D, so we're gonna get together, have a reunion, and just play D&D. I wish.
That's
No,
that's
no.
like Hogwarts or something.
Right? No, I didn't really get into it until sometime, probably like 7 or 8 years ago with fourth edition.
Mm.
I joined a fourth edition campaign that I had to quit because I moved away.
Mhm.
But then when fifth edition came out, I was like first in line at my game store to get the player's handbook, and I was like, okay, I have it. Now what?
Mm.
Nice. So what got you into it? Like everybody kind of has in Rivals has their own journey to D&D.
Yeah.
Obviously me, Cicero, Brandon are like pretty new.
hmm
Tanya's been like playing for like a while. What got you into it?
Um, I think it was just kind of one of the many things that my friend group did. Like we had, like anime club and the just the video games. Like I was a big fan of RPGs and stuff. So to be able to take an RPG and kind of bring it off the screen and then put it right in front of me where I can actually do that stuff. Like I can't wield a Buster Sword, but I can pretend to. And I will be.
Awesome. And did you have like a crew of like other people of color in your area that you started playing like D&D with?
Yes, actually. The majority of my friend group, my nerdy friend group was we were all black, so and like one white girl. So used to kind of flip the script a little bit.
Token. Yeah, you had the token.
Right. So yeah, to kind of have that friend group. And it was we were all black, but it was definitely like, I don't know, like colored by having a large group of white friends and the experiences and I don't know, the things that we were fans of that were kind of influenced by that. So it was like we were black, but we weren't really black, like, oh, you're not that black or whatever. But yeah, I mean, we were still a bunch of black kids in a basement playing D&D. So
That's awesome. Yeah, I really wish I had that experience 15 years ago. That would have changed my opinion of tabletop.
Yeah,
It was always, as I've shared earlier, it was always for me like that geeky thing that was like the one geeky thing that was out of my reach was like tabletop
and
stuff.
when I got back into it heavy with fifth edition, though, I was like the only black person and often the only black girl at the table. So I experienced that a little bit more like when I fully jumped into the hobby. But yeah, just I mean, like I've always been surrounded by black people who do nerdy shit stuff.
Yeah.
Can we curse?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Yeah.
No, banned. You're banned.
Banned. James
no.
Dolan. You're James
I'm off the
Dolan now.
cast.
Yeah, it's a weird. I mean, we do try not to curse on the show, but we definitely have had some curses on the show. Yeah. So, anybody else want to share either their journey or just their current thoughts about playing?
Well, I do want to say, one of the things that, or at least echo what you were saying before, Reef, about, I was aware of Dungeons and Dragons. I was aware of tabletop RPGs, but only really in the form of Dungeons and Dragons. And while Reef said it was out of his reach, I would say that it wasn't even. It was like banned from my town. Like it wasn't even a thing that was even broached. Like it never crossed the town lines.
Wow.
In terms of cultural relevance. I grew up in an all marginalized community. And we had the token white family on our street, as opposed to the other way around. So it was not even though I was, for all intents and purposes, I was the nerd on our block. That was a step beyond that. I wasn't even thinking about broaching. It was like it didn't even enter my purview to think that was something that I should be doing. And it wasn't until I started listening to podcasts and started podcasting myself. And even then, one of the only black people that I knew that was very open and honest and deliberate about their love for tabletop RPGs was DJ Ben Hameen off of the Fanbros show. Shout out to him. He grew up in Houston and was a huge D&D and tabletop RPG fan, and still is to this day. And it just, to me, like, to see him was one of the first inklings where I was like, oh, maybe it's not as weird and out there and as, you know, upper level nerdy, you know, nerddom than I thought it was, because, you know, outside of that, I felt like our geekiness levels were very much aligned, and you know, we enjoyed lots and lots of the same things, and this one thing that we didn't enjoy, that we didn't have in common, was the fact that he had this love for RPGs, and I'm glad that I finally got a chance to roll some dice for real, because it was definitely something that was missing in my life.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Well, how about you, Brandon? Is this something that you encountered when you were younger and just never tried?
I honestly, yeah, I never actually experienced D&D or like really knew about it growing up. It wasn't until I probably was like in high school, but I didn't have friends who played it, and it definitely was like not the cool thing to be a nerd. But I kind of started liking RPGs by playing like Final Fantasy games, and then it wasn't until after college when I played my first Dragon Age game. That was the first game that was like really kind of like D&D like, and got me really excited. And then I was like playing through the first one and the second one, and then just really kind of seeing the world of like being an elf or using magic and all that kind of stuff, which I think is what kind of gravitated me towards playing Ren, because I had played that kind of character when I played through Dragon Age. And so when the opportunity came up to, you know, learn how to play it and be on the show, I was like, all right, well, I enjoyed playing through Dragon Age. Let's see if this will work out the same way. And so far, I mean, obviously, like Dragon Age and D&D are not exactly the same, but a lot of the character arcs and backstory and, you know, the battles are very similar. So that's why I've been enjoying it a lot. And now I've been trying to play like the last Dragon Age game, Inquisition, and just trying to see the difference between like D&D since I played it. So it's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I had a similar thing where I play, you know, I was a fan of Lord of the Rings. You know, I haven't played Dragon Age, but I played other fantasy kind of games, you know. I didn't realize that D&D, you know, that a lot of that was connected, like lore-wise and fantasy-wise, to the tropes you find in tabletop RPGs. I thought it was just a totally different thing. So I remember, you know, because, like, you know, I tried it when like I was younger and it didn't really work for me. I didn't have a group. So when I kind of reconnected with it, you know, with Rivals, and I was reading through, you know, like the Waterdeep stuff, you know, which was, you know, what we started with, I was like, yo, this sounds a lot like stuff I've already been a fan of, which
Right.
I mean, it makes sense now, but I didn't realize it at all. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's been really cool to, like, you know, play, you know, I've been playing like a tiefling, but like, you know, knowing who everybody else's characters is on the party, right? When I'm DMing and designing stuff, I always think about like the mix of characters we have and how they react to different kind of situations. So I read up about, you know, elves and halflings, and like now I have like a new race to like read up about, and like that kind of stuff that like Latia brought as a surprise.
Heck yeah.
You know, yeah. So yeah, it's been real dope. It's been really dope. I've been really happy with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I actually have a question for Latia. It's the Ask Latia hour.
Oh
Yes.
boy.
Yes.
Oh boy, go for it.
So Latia, you've been sitting on the secret about becoming a rival. First guesting on Rivals, and then actually becoming a rival full time for a little while. Like, you know, this had been brewing for a bit, and you know, obviously we knew behind the scenes. What can you talk about? What the perception was for you between when you found out you'd be guesting to being a permanent cast member, and like what conceptions, I won't necessarily say misconceptions that you had, but what perceptions or conceptions that you had of us and of how we played that are different now that you actually have had a chance to play with us?
Okay, so first of all, I will say that I have been following you guys, all of y'all, off and on since D&D Live 2018. So I have been aware of the Rivals since your inception.
Right.
And I thought that it was the coolest. Like, I mean, everybody kind of had that same idea. Like, this is a group of all Black and brown people at a table, which is something that nobody sees. And I was like, oh, this is amazing. I need to, and they're in Chicago? Wow.
Right.
One day I'm playing chess. No. No. Right. And then just getting to know you all, like, I don't know you, Sharif, Cicero, and Brandon as much as I knew like Tanya, Serena, and Carlos, for example, because I met them at the end of 2018, and we became friends there. So when Serena approached me to guest, which she did in the most adorable way, like she fake proposed, except it was, will you guest on Rivals, please?
Oh, I love it.
I love her so much. But yeah, when she approached me to guest, I was like, I'm in no world would I have said no, because watching you all on stream, on stream, and like the pictures and the conversations that I've heard you all have, like, y'all are a family, and like that's not, I mean, I have a family, but that kind of like friendship and camaraderie is something that I don't have a lot of in my life right now. So when it transitioned to, hey, would you like to guest, to, hey, would you like to join the cast, I was like, I'm getting a family. And all of you all were so welcoming, and just I was very nervous because I've done a little bit of studio streaming before, but it's all been like pre-recorded stuff, and something where I haven't felt completely comfortable at the table. Just kind of like, comfortable, whether it's comfortable in my character or comfortable by myself at the table, whether it be not being used to being in the camera or, sitting constraints or whatever. Just, I've never been as comfortable at a table as I was like at the studio Sunday, for example.
Wow.
So
thank you.
Yeah, it's cool.
Oh, you're welcome. You're a great table mate, Cicero.
You're a great table mate too, Mike.
Yeah.
I mean, you all are, but I sit on Cicero's side of the table.
There you go. There you go. She sits on the good side of the table.
On the lefty side of the table.
That is also correct.
Mm-hmm.
That is also correct. I guess that is something that we learned about each other.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
No, I'm glad that you find us welcoming, because I know, and I've shared this with the others in the past, that I was like super worried about entering another kind of like nerd culture,
right?
Because I know how toxic all fandoms can be, but especially coming from like predominantly like video game stuff, where I mean there's just been some bad stuff going on, not even counting Gamergate, just bad stuff in general. I know Brandon sees it. I know that like Cicero sees it for sure. So I was worried. Like I was like, y'all are cool, but I was like, especially going into D&D Live, I was like, oh, man, like, are we just
how is everybody else going to react to that?
Yeah, exactly. I was like, is everybody going to be talking down to us or saying that we should have memorized the players?
Oh God,
right.
Like every piece of health and every stat for like,
are we going to be held to a higher standard?
Yeah, I was worried about that for real, like especially being Black, you know what I'm saying? I was worried, because like it's the same way that gamers do. Like if you don't know immediately how to beat some game like 100% or everything,
right?
Like, people look at you like you're not a video gamer, and it's double if you're marginalized. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So point of order from the chat. Cipher of Tier is Cipher
This
of
Robert
Tier is
rules?
here.
Are we doing it?
Yeah. So Robert's Rules of Order. And Cipher of Tier is in the chat. Tanya DePass, we love her.
We love her
And
so much.
as you were talking about Reef, as you were talking about just the trepidation that we had going into D&D Live, Tanya said, "Oh, what? No trust, right? No trust in her." And I would just say, I would say to Tanya, it was because we trusted you that we are here. 100%.
That's
If it
true.
weren't for the fact that we trust and love Tanya DePass, Reeve, Brandon, and myself would not be here because of the things that Sharif just stated. Like, we understand how passionate fans can get of their hobby, of their genre, of the thing that they love. And it's irrespective of what that is. There are people that are very, very passionate about that thing. And when newcomers come in and are given a spotlight over that thing, there are going to be people that are very critical of them, especially if those people look different. And that is something that we've experienced personally in the video game space, but we have witnessed countless times before in fandom. And so if it wasn't for the fact that Tanya was the one who approached us and said, "Hey, let's do this," 100% we would not be here.
Yeah, I mean, I know for a fact that if Tanya didn't say anything to me, or if somebody else, I probably would have had said yes so easily. I think.
Right.
Yeah. Because I've known Tanya for years, and she brought it up in a really good way where I thought it would work well, and I always wanted to do stuff with Tanya. So it was like, okay, well let's try this D&D thing out, and I was pretty nervous. Like once we started the show, I didn't know if it was gonna feel like the Brady Bunch. Everybody was put together, and it wasn't gonna work out, but it just all came together. And Serena, Carlos, and I got close to them, and it was just, I don't know. It's just, it has felt really good to just play with you all, and just like, I have played other D&D games, but it literally doesn't feel the same. So that's why I've been very skeptical when people have come to me and asked me about being on other D&D shows, but I don't think I can. I'm just so used to this group that I don't want to try anything. That's just me, though. I know a lot of people can play different characters, but I've just been so. Yeah.
This feels very different than any other D&D game I've played, and I don't know if it's. I don't know. I don't know if it's because of the table makeup, where it's just a bunch of like Black and brown people who can get together, like it's almost like it's like being at a family reunion, where you're just really comfortable, and like everybody, and like the jokes that you're gonna hear, and the just the level of understanding that you have from everybody at the table just because of who's at the table,
Right.
Yeah, I mean, just so like, you've been playing for a while, so imagine how spoiled me, Cicero, and Brandon are, that this is like our first or our first major experience.
Right.
So it's like we don't, at least me, like I don't know anything else.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like to me, this group is D&D. So I feel like I'm gonna go into another group with these expectations, and I'm gonna have to lower them, because I agree. I feel like we got some magic here. You know what I mean? And I remember when we first started, I definitely trusted Tanya for sure, but I was worried that it was gonna be like, me, Cicero, and Tanya on one side, and like Serena and Carlos and Brandon on the other side, and like it was gonna be like we show up for work, like we do our thing, and then that's it. Like it wouldn't be like becoming closer friends, which I think is what's really happened, and I think that's why the show has been received so well, because we're just friends playing,
Right.
And that's
Mm-hmm.
what this stuff is it's just friends playing. And
It's
like
just friends playing, yeah.
yeah, exactly, we're not like reviewing WotC business notes, or
Right.
or like, hey, like make sure that we mention like this and this,
Right.
Right.
like we bug out, you know what I'm saying, like we sidetrack if we need to,
Right.
you know but it's just that trust, because I know I wouldn't choose to DM after barely playing the game if I didn't trust that people would like help me through it and like
Mm-hmm.
guide me through it. And like I don't know if like you felt the same way, see, when like a UDM, but
Yeah.
it's like if that trust wasn't there, I wouldn't have did it, because I thought that people would
Right.
have like questioned everything I did, or said, "Oh yeah, that's not how that works. You should do it this way." Yeah, it's like always that kind of fear that I used to have, but
Right.
I don't have it with this group.
Yeah. Yeah. Trust falls are dumb, but I'll fall backwards with this group any day of the week.
Aw.
Noted.
Yeah, exactly.
Noted.
I think also something that I discovered as playing is that the medium itself, being in these long standing campaigns with a consistent group of people, helps to build trust amongst the group. And if you are willing and open to it, it does help to create bonds of friendship. And I think, I think that the group of us started as, some of us knew each other very well. But the group of us, including Carlos and Serena, are incredible friends now. Just the
Oh, don't make
amount
me
of
cry.
yeah the amount of love and compassion and camaraderie that we have, that hopefully is apparent on the screen every week, or at least you can hear through the podcast every week, is
Yeah,
very real.
every time I see people saying that they're watching the show from the very beginning and how far we are now, I'm just like,
Yeah.
I'm always curious to see like when people get to the very end how they experience it, because especially
Right.
watching it all the way through in one
Right.
sitting,
Yeah.
that's a lot of stuff
Yeah.
to take in.
A
So
lot of
I
time.
always wonder about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like the if you check like the YouTube numbers, those early episodes have like skyrocketed,
Right.
like the views on them, because like there are people that jump in right to the beginning and go all the way through,
Right.
which I still find amazing. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I know people that do that with Critical Role, and their shows are twice as long as ours.
Right. And they've got twice as many.
Yeah, exactly. But, yeah, exactly. I mean, there's people that like they don't want to. Even though I always tell people, I'm like, yo, every season is an arc. You could start every episode that ends with a 1. Like you could just start
Right.
there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But like people, and like I understand, like people want to, do it. But I'm like, yo, it's like, 116 hours we got like right now.
Right,
You know what I
right.
mean? So.
Yeah.
Hey,
Right.
I mean, you shut in, like if you want to.
Yeah, right. Like this is the perfect time.
Now is the time.
This is the perfect time. If you have never seen Rivals of Waterdeep, and you have been impacted by by this pandemic, and you're engaging in social distancing, you have got 120 hours worth of podcasts that you had never heard before, or 120 hours worth of video,
The video. Yep.
via YouTube that you've never seen before. And here's it, here is a collection of stories that are almost told in an anthology type of way,
Mm-hmm.
where you've got different storytellers telling those stories as we improvise those stories. And, and there are, the way that we do them is very different. You know what? Back to Latia, if I may.
Absolutely.
So because 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 you're now a cast member, but first you were a viewer. What was your perspective on the change in the change in DMs, and how did you appreciate the change in styles?
I thought that was the coolest. Like, I mean, I mean, I just thought it was the coolest. Like to get rotating perspective so that everybody gets a chance to both play and DM, aside from those who are, who don't want to or are uncomfortable. I know there are a couple of the cast members that are. uh, but yeah, to get that different perspective on storytelling, but also to show that anybody can DM as
Right,
well.
right.
To have a couple of cast members who, for them, the stream itself is their first time playing, and then to be like, oh well, I'm gonna jump into the hot seat, and that's gonna be my first time doing that. Like, it's awesome, and
Yeah.
I think being at the studio for the first time this week has gotten me a little excited to jump in the hot seat myself.
Oh, all right, all right.
So maybe not next season because I wanna.
Yeah, we gotta.
Yeah,
we gotta learn about the honey.
If next season happens, but I definitely want to learn to sit in Dahani's shoes a little bit more. But if we for potential future seasons,
right?
Yeah, I definitely want to be at the head of the table for a bit.
Ooh,
yeah.
Now, and what has been in your previous experience? How would you describe your DM style? Like,
wow.
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, so most recently my DM experience has been with kids. And with the kids, like, don't even worry about having a story or like, have some very loose plot points for them, but it doesn't matter because they're gonna want to, go find a dragon egg, or they've got an airship now. Let's go bomb like Candlekeep for some reason. These are honest to goodness things that my kids have wanted to do.
Right.
And it's really, I've become a very go with the flow dungeon master, just because of the things that kids want to do.
Sweet. Yeah. I imagine that's definitely a unique challenge, is like to rein them in.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah, I've never DM'd with kids, but actually I DM'd a very like a one shot that had like 13, 14-year-olds.
Yeah.
And my main thing was having them not try to fight everyone and everything.
Yes.
So I kept having to set up people that out-leveled them by a ton. And of course I didn't tell them that, but they would see it either by getting hit or through a statement that the person would say. But most people, I feel like, especially for younger, they see D&D like a big video game.
Yes.
So they're kind of like, I have to fight everyone and everything. Like, there's no friends that are in this thing.
No, I have to fight everything. I have to steal every wheel of cheese. I have to slay every dragon. It's, a lot of the fun in crafting adventures for kids, though, is figuring out a way to kind of bypass that.
Yeah.
So, like, for example, in this little world that we've created for the kids at my job, we have a store that's called Weapons or Death. This store is run by a somewhat sentient gelatinous cube. Somewhat sentient because he has inside of him the mithril plated skull of some kind of ancient wizard or whatever. So when the kids go into the store, the skull like pops out of the cube and goes, weapons or death. And if the kids say weapons, then they can buy weapons. And if they say death, well, so far no one has said death.
Wow. That almost sounds like, it's not that deep of a cut, but in Dark Knight Rises, when Scarecrow was holding the trials and he was like death or exile.
Right.
Oh.
I don't know
yes.
That, but
yeah.
Yes. I just saw that movie recently because I was watching old movies. But
what does Batman say? We don't fall down to get up.
Oh wow.
We fall down to see if our knees are busted.
He does not say that. But going back in those movies, aside
if
from
I
the
fall
Dark
down,
Knight,
it is because my knees are busted.
Right.
Aside from the Dark Knight, which has some really great writing, most of those movies, the dialogue is pretty bad.
Yeah.
In revisiting them, But yeah, like I love the thinking up ways to avoid combat, and like also when the players do, Brandon, I like love what you did with Gideon, man. You made
Yeah.
me completely rethink that character,
I didn't
because
even
I
know
def
that. That just kind of came out of nowhere.
no, but that's what's awesome though. Like that's what makes the great games because
Yeah.
I definitely planned him to be like this super beautiful, like looking dude that has that like withering gaze spell and all that stuff. But
Ooh.
I had to rethink. I had to adjust to what you did, and I think it's made that character and that arc like much better.
Well,
It's
I
really
want to
cool.
ask a quick question to you as a DM, and I guess also Cicero, Lati as well. So, like situations like as I had kind of switched up, like a storyline, like how do you come up with like what to do next, like on the fly?
I mean,
Because I'm not really good at quickly coming up with something like that.
Oh, you're a liar.
I'm
You're a
not like
liar.
switching up what I was plated on.
You're a
no, you
liar.
do it a lot, even though you don't realize it.
Oh,
Yes.
okay,
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
cause like I mean, are you saying you plan out everything Rin's gonna say every episode?
that's true. I do not.
You
I
just
do
have a
not.
typed out script.
Right.
Imagine I had a script.
Right.
No, it's a telltale
Right.
style script though. He's got
Right.
like branches off for
Yeah,
like every
right.
Yeah.
possibility.
Exactly. Right. There's a giant flow chart in his head.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah. I mean, like it's all improv. I mean, it definitely is harder for the DM for sure because I have to improv more stuff and I got to think about everybody.
Mhm.
But yeah, man. But like I had to, honestly, one thing I love about D&D is if you can't make up something, you just roll the dice, man.
Yep.
As a DM, you just roll
Mhm.
and you make your decision. It like is a crutch almost. Like I think that a lot of people think that a DM has to plan out like every possible interaction, and like some DMs might, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But like me, I definitely have my threads that I'm trying to drive people towards. But oftentimes when you see me roll and it's outside of like combat, it's when I don't know what to do next.
Right. Right.
And it's like you might not even be rolling for an outcome. You just roll while you think
Yes.
of
Yeah.
something to do. And then like if the die comes up as, a certain number, like if the die leans one way or another, then you're like, okay, well, so like if Gideon was like hell bent on being like this, super beautiful, I'm a bad guy and I'm always going to be a bad guy. And like a high number would indicate that.
Mhm.
If I had rolled low for Gideon, for example, I'm gonna like not necessarily like the opposite, but I'm gonna think like instead of being this bad guy, like what would he have done instead? Like I take a low roll, I think about like what the opposite would be, and then I kind of like insert an NPC's personality into that.
Yeah.
So like he wouldn't like completely surrender or he wouldn't,
Yes.
completely fall absolutely head over heels for Ren, but he'd soften a bit, which is, kind of what he did.
Yeah, that's exactly what he did. Yeah, yeah. I agree. Like I like to think about fleshed out kind of characters. I mean, they're not like two dimensional. Like they don't just think one way and that's all they ever do. Like they are three dimensional. So like they can change their mind, right? They can get frustrated. They can get upset. They can at the last second like choose to go against their design orders and do something else. I feel like that's what makes games kind of lively, and that's one thing that I love about D&D as well is because usually when I play games, I'm the one that's yelling at the screen like, "Oh man, I wish you would have did that," or like, "Why'd they write that line for this character?" Or like, I know this character is like evil, but them responding this way kind of doesn't make sense given the circumstances. So I've been like yelling at my TV for 30 years of gaming, and I had no idea that there was this existing media that lets you do that. When like Mass Effect came out, because I didn't really get into the Dragon Age series, but when like Mass Effect came out, I was like, yo, this is what I was looking for, but it's still, you're still limited by what they could fit in there, right? So, having, discovering kind of D&D has kind of been the solution to something that I've been looking for
Yeah.
over all the years of gaming I've done, which is like yelling at my screen when like somebody reacts a certain way. Even with a newer game like The Outer Worlds, you know, which
Right.
is an awesome game.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I remember thinking at like at times like, why'd you do that? You know, and
Mm-hmm.
when you're playing, you can, you know, I I I just hope that things like what Brandon did with Gideon, that they empower the players and let you know that everybody controls the story. It's not just
Mm-hmm.
the DM
Right.
dictating something and you follow. Like everybody changes things at the flip of a hat. See, was
Yeah.
there anything that you had to change based on what we did during your season?
Yeah. Well, I mean, first, almost right off the bat, in the very first scene of season 5, I had you guys, like, I was trying to create your very first encounter with the guys over at the River Styx,
Mm-hmm.
and it you were almost immediately trying not to, like, you were going to try and run away from them.
Yeah.
And then I kind of forced you to fight them, and then you kept one person alive. So like I had this exposition dump planned for a different character, but because you guys had spared one and was interrogating them, it gave me the opportunity, or I had to then create that exposition dump for that character. But it gave us some fantastic RP as a result of it. The joke about what are the allergies, and go into the infernal Walgreens, like all of those things. All of those things came out of that interaction, and that entire thing was improv. So yeah, it's great. Like it's I'm gonna sound like such an old man when I say this, but the beauty of being able, like, when you're a DM, and you've got a good table, it's jazz. Like it really is jazz. It is that improvisation,
Yeah.
but you're able to flow together. Like, oh, I'm picking up what you're throwing down, as the players, and then like the DM will give you a scat line, and then as the player, you've got to give him something else, and then he gives you something else, and that it's jazz. But like, hold on, let me go find a Kango that I can put on backwards, and sip some cognac.
Yeah, no, I love that because even if you don't count jazz, it's a jam session.
Yeah,
It's like people showing up with instruments, and then somebody will come to the stage and play something, and then you'll like just make something, and then somebody will like come up and start singing or rapping or scatting or whatever.
Right.
It's like going to an open mic and having one of those jam sessions.
Mm-hmm.
I used to be a frequent open micer back in like my early
Yeah.
20s and stuff.
Yeah,
and
Beefy Reef.
And like those were the best kind of nights,
Right.
and like people would just go up and you would just make something new, and like it would be dope. You know what I'm saying? So.
Man, I miss jam sessions now. Oh man.
So, I want to go around. I want to go around the table and talk about favorite moments from this season, or at any point during the course of Rivals. And we'll start with our newest rival, Atia.
Oh, you keep putting me on the spot.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You've got so much information. I want the people to know you.
Okay. Let's see. I'll go with my favorite moment from this season because I can remember it most recently. I think, and this is, I have so many, but this is the one that I can think of off the top of my head. It was when you and Duo put together your grotesque costume.
Oh.
And then the realization that you all had been going for probably a whole day at that point. So for a good portion of the season, you looked like that.
Yeah.
And the image that I had of your like, you basically look like the California raisin. Like your head just looked like the California raisin.
Yeah. There you
and
go.
but like Perrin body, California raisin head with
Right.
sunglasses too. I don't know why.
I
That's
hope
just how
somebody
you.
can draw that.
Yes.
Someone draw that, please. That's great.
My aunt used to have a California raisin pillow with like
Oh wow.
with like dangly arms and legs.
Yes.
So
Oh
like
man.
with the big gloves and everything. So yeah,
Man.
that was just when I was imagining you.
Yeah.
That was the image I had.
Well, I
Yeah.
had talking about dating yourself. I had the California Raisins vinyl.
Wow.
Oh
The
wow. Was
vinyl
it
record.
was it a 45 or was it a 12-inch?
No, it was not a 45. It was a 12-inch vinyl.
Wow.
California Raisins, because like my dad is like a DJ, so like
Oh,
he would
okay.
get records every week,
Right.
you know, from his supplier, you know,
Right.
and he gave me the California Raisins vinyl.
He's like,
Wow.
I ain't spinning this.
Yeah, exactly. He was like, I think I'd rather play the electric slide for 3 hours.
Right.
was
Was Mac tonight on the B side?
All right. Yeah. So,
Brandon.
any favorite
Oh
moments?
wow.
from
Okay,
this
so
season?
I can only remember a moment, and I don't remember the exact moment. And I told Serena about this, but it was the episode when we had the New York Times in.
Oh yeah,
We were
yeah.
taking pictures, and there's this really emotional scene that I had to play with Ren, and it's just like I was dealing with like a really heavy thing that day. I walked in, I tried to like not let it bother me, and like this scene came out where I was like crying and like getting really emotional, which I hadn't really felt that for the first time. But it was weird because it was like taking the emotion that I was feeling and then putting it to the character, and it really made a really great scene, which I have been now starting to feel more comfortable letting myself go and not feeling so weird about it. Because I know when we first started, I was very like, okay, I don't want to step on anybody's toes, or like I don't know if I want to like emote too much. And I think from that scene on, I've just been more comfortable with just like expressing emotions. Like after that, we had the scene where it was Ren was really upset with everybody because of the whole parent thing, and that we were trying to save parent, and Ren was like totally against that.
Yeah.
And it's just those kind of moments where just being emotional and showcasing the character in a different light than what we usually see has been kind of cool, I would say. Yeah, because I don't get those opportunities so often, I guess, like streaming, you know. So it's really cool to role play that out and using my own experience to kind of do that.
Awesome. Yeah. I think you've had these great emotional scenes, Brandon. Like you've had these, like you kind of and they're not during like typically emotional parts of the story, which I love. You kind of make them. Like I remember you had this great scene. This was like really early, I think, in the second season with like Celise at the end of the at the end of the
Oh yeah.
season,
Yeah.
where like you were talking about like your upbringing and like how you grew up with nothing and how that's why like you are into this gold thing, and I was like, yo, Brandon, like yeah, like you had a really dope scene when like Celise was not unconscious.
Oh
but, like,
yeah.
you were like watching her, you know, while me and Perrin were going underground, and you had this great scene. So yeah, I think you've like done a really great job of like really getting, you know, really
Thanks.
like creating scenes that are not forced by the narrative. You know what I mean? Like you kind of make your own thing, which has been great. I think my favorite from this season. Oh, there's been a lot. I mean, definitely the Gideon stuff, but I already kind of talked about that. But yeah, that was just fantastic. You know, like causing me to basically, you know, give another thought to that character. I loved during the games, during the C2E2 show, because I knew I was gonna have a lot of math in there. But like y'all rode with it, man.
Yeah.
Like I gave y'all the option. I was like, y'all can walk away. Like y'all don't gotta do this stuff. And like y'all engaged.
No, we're going to do math.
Right. We're gonna do it poorly, but we're gonna do it.
Like I really love that. Like y'all had that trust in me to go through and engage in like all the games I had set up.
Yeah.
Because like I mean, like y'all could have tried to fight somebody, or just said like I'm not, or like tried to investigate other people. Like you know what I mean? Like there's so many options that you could have did. But so really
we've already had so many fights this season where banging on a thing did not work that I think we were all too afraid to try and fight a thing. Like it wasn't even an option that we considered. Like, all right, we're gonna fight through this math as opposed to fight through these people.
That's true. I think I mean, even with that being my first episode, it didn't occur to me at all to try and fight anything. For Dahani and for myself, this was not a thing where I could solve it by punching something.
Right. So a few of my favorite moments is I'm constantly tickled by Brandon, because there are times like, oh man. So I guess it was your first season. Yeah, it was your first season, Reef, where Brandon read the book and he wound up back in Nightstone.
Oh.
And every time he wound up back in Nightstone, he like just out of nowhere, like, so, Brandon's talking about how, he can't improvise. He goes into the inn in Nightstone, and then all of a sudden he becomes like this proper English gentleman that is like the manager of the place, and he's just got the run of the place. Like, I know there is no way in hell, Reef, that you would plan for that, but you had to roll with it. Yeah, you had to roll with it. And Brandon, like, low key, y'all need to watch Brandon throughout the season, because Rin does stuff, but it all comes from Brandon, and Brandon low key he's the key to all of it.
Especially with that scene and all that, I think that's when I started to feel more comfortable about just kind of role playing out the scenes, because I know the first two seasons I was always nervous of like I didn't want to talk over people. Like I didn't know where to place myself. And then once we started doing more of that kind of stuff, I felt more comfortable just being like, let's just go with it. You know what I mean? Like I know, like I at that point felt comfortable like when to place myself in. If like someone's talking, I know when to stop.
Right.
So it's just
right. Yeah.
It being a live show too. So
and like as I shared with you, Brandon, like that first episode I DM'd, I was so nervous, and you helped me so much because you just went right in,
right?
a whole British Rin character,
right?
And you're like a character, you had a different voice.
Yep. Yeah.
Like it helped me so much to relax my nerves. What I'm saying?
Well, I try. Yeah.
Like you know how to improv.
Yeah.
Know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna lie, it's definitely different as a player than as a DM to improv, but like that skill, like you definitely have for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So another thing that was kind of influential on me was when Carlos was DMing in season 2. The amount of emotion that he brought to, like, the weight that he brought to his storytelling and to our game and to our world was something that I didn't know. Like, season 1 was kind of light. We still didn't know what we were doing. And, it was kind of like action comedy. And then like Carlos created he made us truly 3-dimensional. And through his storytelling and bringing that emotion back. One of my favorite moments also was from season 5 when I was DMing, and I gave you guys all that opportunity to live out some stuff that, I don't want to spoil for those people that are listening or watching that haven't gotten to season 5 yet. But I think those were pivotal moments where people had to make decisions, but also had to live out different versions of things, which I was really fascinated by which way people went with that.
Yeah, that was one of my that was a hard that was not to spoil it, but that was one of the hardest scenes I had to live out and say and do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean it's yeah, it's that's been one really dope thing is getting used to the style of each DM, which is why I was asking Latia what she thought her style was because
Hmm.
everybody's different,
Yeah.
like everybody focuses on different things. Like if you've noticed, like we've had combat like this season, but not like straight up like the last episode was probably the most combat that you've seen that wasn't related to some kind of puzzle
Right.
or
Yes.
Hmm.
something like that.
Yes.
So I made a conscious like decision after Cicero's season, which was very combat heavy,
Right.
to lighten up on that a bit and to
Hmm.
dive in onto other things while still keeping some aspects of that. So yeah, it's I think one thing that I really like a lot too is if somebody creates like an NPC, like we have to trust that the DM next is gonna like take care of that
Of that.
NPC
Yeah.
Hmm.
if
Sure.
they choose to like include them, right?
Right.
Like because like uh like Cicero essentially created Duo, you know,
Hmm.
and every season we've had to trust everybody with that person,
Right.
and there's been like other characters that like we've brought in, but like I never have a worry that like, hey yo, don't put this character in because like you gonna mess them up or something like
Hmm.
that.
Right.
You know,
Right.
like I was nervous about featuring Trollskull Manor in this season because Serena did such an excellent job with setting up the character and mood and like the house was like another character,
Hmm.
but at the same time I know that we all have trust that we're not gonna like step on each other's toes when it comes to you know um, f- featuring other people in it. So yeah, like the chat has some crazy stuff in it. I haven't been, but yeah. So I appreciate everybody in the chat. I saw someone about 15 minutes ago saying that I had villain lighting on
Yes.
my
Yes.
That was
on
Tanya.
my camera.
Yeah.
It's just villain time.
You gotta give him your best villain laugh.
I can turn the light off, but yeah, look at that. Ooh.
That's almost worse. Like you turn the light out on him.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
know what? I will, because it's like a little darker now, so I'll turn it off. So yeah. So anything else, Sean? Anything else y'all want to share?
I don't know, Cicero. Do you have any more questions for me specifically?
Latia. Yeah, everyone stay tuned for the after show where Cicero continues to ask Latia questions. Favorite Pop Tart?
Strawberry.
With or without frosting?
With frosting.
Oh, good job. Because there is only
Second-
one right answer.
No. Well, and it's depending on my mood. It's also tied for brown sugar.
Brown
Oh
sugar
yeah,
is
brown sugar. Brown sugar
absolutely
is
number one.
brown sugar is dope.
number one.
So your introduction to Pop Tarts was definitely frosted strawberry.
Yes.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
The first Pop Tart,
Well, yeah.
anyone like by law, the first Pop Tart you've
But
ever
we're talking
had.
about the best one, right?
So
Oh,
I like
yeah.
blueberry too. I like
blueberry word?
Yeah, I like blueberry.
I don't know. That sounds sacrilegious. Brown sugar is dope. The s'mores one, y'all can miss me with that. Like I know a lot of people came
It's a
up
little
on
too
that
much.
s'mores. Yeah, y'all can miss me with that.
I've had it. I mean, it's not
nah.
terrible, but
Yeah.
It's just like
Yeah. It is just
it's not a strawberry or a brown sugar pop tart.
that is facts. And if you're gonna have a Pop Tart and you don't have frosting on it, you're doing life wrong. Because for what? Why are you doing this to yourself?
The frosted ones are not bad.
There are some
they're
questions in the chat now.
Oh, okay. Question.
So Tanya asks, what would your character's favorite Pop Tart be?
Oh my gosh.
I think Dahani would probably like a plain non-frosting Pop Tart, like any flavor, just non-frosting.
Yeah, I think Shaka would kind of have and he wouldn't tell anybody this, but he would have kind of a secret obsession with like the like ridiculous Pop Tarts, like the ones with the sprinkles on them,
Oh yeah.
and like two different flavors, and like some kind of brand sponsor,
Right.
like Lucky Charms,
Like Lucky Charms
Pop-Tarts.
Pop-Tarts.
Yeah, like I feel like he would have an obsession with like the ridiculous Pop Tarts.
Yeah, I think that Perrin would probably take two different flavored Pop Tarts and have them together. So like a strawberry and a blueberry.
Mm-hmm.
Half and half.
And would either cut them in half or make a sandwich.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ren.
I don't know. I think Ren would just like a really golden burnt Pop Tart. I think Ren would have the opposite of what you would expect him to have. It'd just be a really burnt Pop Tart, golden crisp.
We call that Cajun style.
Yeah, just enjoy that burnt Pop Tart for substance.
Yeah. All right.
He left it in the toaster a little bit too long.
Yeah.
Yo, I used
to all the way on 6.
I remember in college, I was even too lazy to microwave them, y'all. I would just eat them joints straight out the bag. Straight out the bag, man. Straight out the bag.
Straight out the bag.
So
some other questions.
Yeah, we do have some other questions in here.
Yeah, like what are everyone's favorite film genres?
Now, is that us or the characters?
No, I think us. Yes, right?
Yeah, I think us.
Yes. Because there are no films in Waterdeep.
Right, there are no films in Waterdeep.
I mean, they asked our characters about Pop-Tarts.
Yeah, that's true.
Pop-Tarts in Waterdeep?
There's pastries in Waterdeep.
Yeah.
So
actually, what is the name of that bootleg Pop-Tart? There's like another.
The Stouffer. Well, there's the Stouffer strudel joint.
There's the toaster strudels.
Toaster strudels. Yeah. Are those the ones you're talking about?
Yeah. Are there other ones?
I mean, there's like the no frills. There's like the Pop Tarts that I ate that I call Pop Tarts that weren't Pop Tart brand Pop Tarts.
I don't mean like the grocery store brand.
No,
the ones from Pathmark in the white box.
Like the shop,
right? Yeah, I got mine from Seatown.
All those grocery stores are all out of business now.
Yeah, really. Seatown's still around, I think.
Favorite film genre?
Yeah.
I think for me, and I know this is kind of like all encompassing, kind of, but I really like thrillers. I guess.
Okay.
Like not scary movies, but like very suspenseful.
Sure.
Movies where there's a lot on the line.
Right.
Like
Witness.
Like The Hunt for Red October.
Yeah, good one. Good one.
It's like a lot's on the line, and like if like we don't do this exact thing, there's going to be nuclear war. I tend to like those movies, which is why I also tend to like disaster movies. So like I was in heaven when those were coming out every year, like Armageddon and Deep Impact and like the volcano in LA, those kind of movies. Like I really love like The Day After Tomorrow. I think is like a really good like disaster movie. So yeah, I think that's
right. Oh, so you like Roland Emmerich films?
Yeah, I just like thrillers. I just like things where like,
you're categorizing those as thrillers.
I mean, I don't know what else I would characterize them as. So, somebody else go.
Right.
We're talking about movies again, right?
Yes.
I mean,
what's your favorite genre?
Go ahead, Brandon.
I mean, I don't really watch too many movies, but like when I do, it's usually like sci-fi stuff or supernatural things. Like I could I was a big Buffy the Vampire Slayer fan, so that kind of stuff. I'm like,
did you watch the movie?
What, the Buffy movie?
Yes.
Oh, I've seen it. Yeah.
Okay.
It's
very different.
Yeah.
I didn't like it.
It's very different.
Yes, it's very different.
That the show was created.
Actually, it's the reason why I didn't give the TV show a chance.
Yes, same.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I didn't like the movie at all.
I can see that.
So
I can see that.
I made fun of my friends that watched Buffy, and then when I got into it later, I was like, "Oh man, I really."
Yeah, because I watched the show before I watched the movie, and I saw the movie. I was like, "Oh wow."
Gotcha.
This is not what I signed up for.
Right.
Yeah. What's your favorite genre, Latia?
I think if I had to really pin one down, it would be martial arts movies, both like wuxia, like the hero,
the Shaw Brothers,
flying daggers, like the Zhang Yimou, films.
okay.
But then also really, really ridiculous martial arts movies like Ninja Assassin.
Yes.
Yes. It informs a lot of my hobbies because I do a lot of flow arts and stuff, and
Nice.
like playing with like rope darts and stuff, and it just informs a lot. But then also movies that are so bad that they're good, like Once Bitten with Jim Carrey. It's one of my favorite movies. And well, Clue's not a movie that's so bad it's good. It's just a good movie.
Yes.
Knives
Out.
Like
Knives Out. You got to see if you haven't seen it.
I plan on picking up that Blu-ray because
yeah.
murder mysteries, like my favorite book is And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie. So stuff like that I really dig.
Right. Yeah. So Knives Out is what if Clue was good? Like straight up. Like that's the pitch. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So my favorite genre of film, if I have to pick a favorite child, it would be the child who tells me about is topical but thought-provoking sci-fi thrillers.
Okay.
So films like V for Vendetta, films like Children of Men, Dark City is one of my favorite films.
It's been a while since I've seen that.
Yeah. So like they're like all of these movies that present us with a future that is plausible based on where we are, but also gives us a chance as moviegoers, as film aficionados, to have conversations about what the film is talking about and how it makes you feel. And it just evokes existential just kind of thoughts in your brain. So I really enjoy those.
Yeah. Hunger Games.
So like Hunger Games overall, like the world is something that I thought about a lot, and the costumes and stuff, but because it was wrapped in this action movie sandwich, I didn't really attach myself to the world as much as a like thought experiment as maybe I should have, or maybe I would have had I read the books.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love Catching Fire. It's like one of my favorites.
I like the movies. They're good.
Yeah. Oh no, I thought the movies were good, but I thought, but if you were to ask me to categorize it, I would call it just an action movie set in the sci-fi world.
Oh wow!
As opposed to like a dystopian, thought-provoking dystopian sci-fi action film. So
I can see that.
Yeah, but I think the books would have been different.
Yeah, I see some conversations about Peeps.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Tanya. So Tanya is full of controversy today. So Tanya, after we talked about Pop-Tarts and Brandon said that his character would eat burnt Pop-Tarts, she asked us the general question: Peeps, yes or no? And Latia and I, the eagle-eyed participants that we are, saw that and responded with we had very definitive and emphatic answers. Before we give our answers, I will allow you, Brandon, and you, Sharif, to answer. Reef, why don't you answer first? Peeps, yes or no?
Are those the only options?
They are, unfortunately. So if Peeps sometimes is it's a yes.
Okay, I'll say yes then, because it's a sometimes. It's not my preference by any means. But if I was in a movie and my partner had some Peeps and we had like nothing else, I would peep some Peeps.
Brandon, Peeps, yay or nay?
I'm gonna have to say a no on the Peeps.
Yeah,
not taste good to me. I do not enjoy them. I've never enjoyed them. Nope.
I have both Latia and I were very much in the Brandon category. I may have been a little bit more in deeper ensconced in that category than Latia and Brandon, but like. So peeps are a weird thing. Peeps are a thing that I know I don't like. I know I don't like them. But every few years, I will be hoodwinked into having a peep, right? And by hoodwinked, I will say someone just asks, "Hey, you want one?" And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And then I eat it, and halfway through the second chew, I regret all my life's decisions because they brought me to that moment.
Oh wow.
Peeps, no on peeps.
All right, I got it.
Yeah.
Let's see. There was another set of questions. What's the next live appearance that the entire cast will make it out to? We don't know.
That's a very good question.
Everything's been canceled through like the summer, so we have no idea. I mean,
Next live appearance, my room.
Right.
yeah,
like,
exactly. I mean, like T and Cicero were supposed to get Gary gone.
Yeah,
that's canceled. The math conference I was supposed to speak at is canceled. I was supposed to take my partner had a conference in like Ireland in July.
Oh yeah.
That like I was gonna go to canceled. You know what I mean? I'm worried because I have a good friend that's planning her wedding.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's like in September.
Oh.
But still, I mean, I don't know if the venues are gonna be like, nah, you know what I mean, or if people are not gonna fly.
If people just don't get their act together.
Yeah, exactly. Question. Yeah. I gotta learn how to pronounce this right.
Oh, Aarakocra.
Aarakocra feel awkward sleeping on a feather pillow.
I don't think so. I'm sure Aarakocra like most birds. As long as the feathers are humanely sourced.
Humanely sourced. So like you're like at like Whole Foods in the organically sourced,
organically harvested
feather department.
Yeah,
you know, and like you're paying like twice as much for your stuff. All right, yeah. Oh, favorite superheroes.
Ooh,
there's a question in there.
Ooh. I used to like Spider-Man back in the day, but I don't know. It's kind of
he fell off
to like Venom.
Oh, okay.
Maybe because I play way too much Marvel vs. Capcom. I always pick Venom.
Okay. I don't really have I don't really have a favorite because I'm not really super into superheroes. But I don't know.
All right, that's dope. All right. What about you, Reef?
I've always been a Batman guy. That was my favorite comic book as a kid. Then the animated series came out when I was a teenager on Fox. That was incredible.
Batman the animated series is one of the greatest cartoons in the world.
In the 1989 Batman movie I just didn't think they could do comics like that. Like it was incredible.
Yeah.
And I know people, love Heath Ledger, but Jack Nicholson is still my favorite Joker.
There you go. That's my Joker. That's my Joker.
So like I've always been a Batman dude.
Right. All right. So Brandon's gonna go. We're gonna still answer some questions, but before Brandon goes, I want
Let the man go.
I just want him to answer this question because I think it's an important one. It's an important one. Did you ever feel awkward about role playing? And if yes, how do you deal with it?
That's a good question. No, I mean, I think I ever felt weird about role playing. I think, especially with the situations that Red has dealt with, especially with like men and women, I thought it was gonna be a little weird. But I've oddly felt comfortable with it because mainly because the people who are at the table have made me feel comfortable. When we did it in front of a studio audience, that was definitely different. But I don't know. I've never felt weird about it because I think I've been so used to playing fantasy games and then like imagine like a good imagination about that kind of stuff anyway. So it's never been like a weird situation, but I have second guessed certain things that I've said out loud while role playing during the game and been like, okay, I probably should have said that. That did not sound right. So we've had
just means the game is great.
Yep.
That means the game is great. All right, Brandon. Well,
all right, everybody. Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate it. I'll see you guys on the next
Bye,
episode.
Brandon.
Right?
Bye, Brandon. Love you, man.
See ya.
All right, man. Peace. So I lost the history of the chat because my Twitch refreshed.
Okay.
That's
Yeah,
okay.
I got you.
I don't see any other questions. I think the Sun Heroes one was the last one I saw.
Other favorite geeky pastimes.
I mean, for me, like definitely video games for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I also really love like action figures. So
cool.
Let me adjust my camera a little bit so I can show you what
Gonna show us your action figures.
What my office looks like.
Yeah.
But like while I'm doing that, somebody else can.
Yeah. So Latia, let the people know about you.
Let the people know about me. So video games, of course. I used to be very, very big into Dance Dance Revolution.
Oh, okay. Did you wear flare jeans like the big?
I didn't wear Junko jeans. I wore bell bottoms. I was big into bell bottoms.
Okay.
I used to be. Well, I mean, I probably still. I still am into DDR, but I think last summer I very badly pulled a calf muscle while playing.
Oh wow.
So, but yeah, video games, that, and then if you can call flow arts geeky, like I do hula hooping and fan spinning and rope dart and et cetera.
So like on my camera are some of my figures here.
Wow.
Up on these like cool picture ledges, a bunch of
is that an orange D20 next to what I suspect is a Ken?
It's next to a Ken and a Slinky.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
And I also have a bunch of pops. But
yes, a bunch. A bunch is an understatement.
I used to be very, very, very into pops, but I've only recently started collecting again with the D&D ones. But I used to be real big into pops. That is such a good collection, Sharif. I love it.
And well, now that we're into my collection,
Geordie LaForge, nice.
I got some other stuff. I got some like Cuphead people. I got some
nice.
I got some Atari 2600 cartridges.
Holy cow!
Because I love that stuff. Got some Ganon, some small Street Fighter characters.
I like that Ganon
pins, actually.
Yeah. There you go. Pins. Yeah, some emotes, some Cypher of Tear emotes.
I got the Night King.
Yeah.
And I got a bunch of stuff.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So that is me. C. Any
geeky pastimes? Nah, man. I'm a cool kid. You know, sticking nerds in the lockers. Video games, which I don't even know if that's a geeky pastime anymore because everybody plays games.
I mean, I think like the level that we're into it though is.
Oh yeah. Like if you go onto my Twitter timeline right now, there is a 4-tweet post speaking about the Sony PS5 reveal.
If you even know that Microsoft and Sony like release specs.
Yeah. So that is definitely a geeky passion and pastime of mine. Comic books. I'm a pretty pretty big comic book fan. I'm not the biggest comic book fan, but I read books from time to time. I'm definitely in that world, definitely knowing about things that are happening and that kind of stuff, and will watch. I probably consume more animated versions of comics that I've loved over the years. I'm big into cartoons, like anime I like, but more like American cartoons, like just goofy cartoon shit. Like, what other geeky pastimes? I love films. I love geeky sci-fi and fantasy books.
I mean, anything is geeky if you put the right spin on it.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah,
right.
That's what I'm saying. Like that word, like most words, has evolved.
Yes, yeah. I love geeky meals.
Now presenting geeky meals with Cicero.
Right. So I've gotten into not so weirdly, but I've gotten into board games. So one thing that would happen if you wind up hanging out with me, coming over to my house, is we're gonna play some games.
Yes, every time I go to Cicero's house, we play some stuff for sure.
Yeah.
So what is on your board game shelf?
Oh man. Now? Oh, hold on. Oh no, my cameras aren't long enough to take you to, like, I don't have the memorabilia board that Reef does, but I do have an entire bookshelf full of board games. So I've got games like Cards Against Humanity. I've got Love Letter. I've got Settlers. Catan. I've got I've got 3 different versions of Betrayal of the House on the Hill.
That's my favorite board game.
It is. So it's the game that was my gateway drug into new board games.
Yes.
It's fantastic game.
Love it.
Once we can get like 6 people together in a room without it being a health hazard, we should definitely play that game. And so I've got, Diana Moon talked about it. I've got Betrayal Legacy, but nobody in my house will play it with me. So that's so that's a problem. I just bought a game called Rap Gods. From I think they're called the Board Game Brothers, BG Brothers on Twitter. And it was, I think I caught their Kickstarter bundle for the game. The game is so much fun. You can play it in less than an hour. It probably, like, the first time you play it, you'll probably spend about 2 hours, figuring stuff out. But once you get it, and you'll get it in about 5 minutes after you set everything up, it is so much fun. Oh man, I can't wait to play that again. But it's up to 4 players. But I've got code names. I've got a bunch of different code names. I've got like 5 different One Night Werewolves.
Yeah.
And I carry around a Bluetooth speaker with me, so just so I can play One Night Werewolf. So I can play One Night Werewolf.
When Cicero came to my house one time, and he brought One Night Werewolf. And my in-law, my future in-laws at the time,
right,
were there, and they got so into it. Like, my mom-in-law was accusing people,
right?
Lying. It was incredible.
Yes.
Like it is. Like, I just didn't know that they had this version where there's like an app that runs you through all the things and tells different roles to wake up and do stuff. Like solves a lot of the trouble.
I was gonna say, it takes a lot of the guesswork out of the game when you can just set it to go and you already know kind of what's going on there.
Yeah. It is awesome. A couple questions I see. So for Sharif, what do you think about that new Shenmue? Yay or nay? I mean, they're not trying to do anything new. It is Shenmue. They're not trying to update it for the new generation. They're not trying to like make it more like modern games. If you like Shenmue 1 and 2, you will like 3. It has the same jerky dialogue and like going back and forth to like I talk to people. Horrible menuing. Specifically, if you're on the PC, you better have a controller because the buttons that they choose, which you can't change, and
Right.
keyboard are awful.
Wow.
But it's like a Kickstarter thing, right? So I mean, I will say though, the music and the graphics incredible. But it is Shenmue, which means if you want to play a '90s era game with 2020 like visuals, it's for you for sure.
That's
Um,
cool.
Question: if you had to swap characters with another player for a single game,
I didn't play
who
any of
would
the
you
other
swap
shows.
with? Interesting.
Hmm.
I want to try that one out.
Oh, dang it.
Huh?
I will try it out first. Then
Okay.
I would swap with. I think
POC and TTRPGs asked before my stream crashed, what would our
Yeah.
characters be up to during this
Yeah.
period of
While
social
social
distancing?
distancing. Yeah.
Oh, well, like I want to answer. Wait, did you hear me when I said the swap question?
No.
Oh,
What was it?
no,
What was the
sorry.
question?
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
This is the engagement I look for.
Right.
No, I said that like there was I read a question first and then you read another question.
Oh, I'm sorry. So go,
Uh,
you go.
So the question was, if you had to swap characters with another player for a single game, who would you swap with? I'm
Oh.
assuming they mean from this party,
Yes.
but I'll say anybody. Like you can open it up to other people if you want. I think I would swipe with Tanya. I think I would like to try Celise out for a little bit.
Mm.
Because like it's a cool character and like very like tanky and damage dealing.
Speaking of, Tanya says that your volume sounds a little low.
Oh, mine?
Yeah.
Ooh. Has it always sounded like that?
No,
I
it
don't
sounds
know.
fine to me.
Okay, I will turn the gain up.
There you go.
Sounds better.
But yeah. Anyone else want to jump in with characters?
I would swap with Duo.
Mm. There you go. There you go.
That just, I mean, for all of the reasons.
Yeah. You just got to be able to steal things, though, if you do that.
Right. Mostly, I love Serena's Duo voice.
Yeah.
So when Duo does things, I would like do them and be able to use the voice, and it would be really cool.
Yeah. Sweet.
Uh,
Cicero.
I would swap with Knock Knock.
Ooh.
So
because like Knock Knock was kind of dope. Like Knock Knock was silly and goofy and he did all this dumb stuff, but he was crazy deep in terms of like he had a lot of stuff going on that he was thinking about that was always there. And when he fought, like he, like Carlos just kept having attacks.
Yeah.
So he had
stop.
really dope weapons and like I would love to be able to just be a fighter. Like Perrin, a lot of the things that Perrin has to do, Perrin has to think about and when it comes to battles, but being able to be a blunt object would be kind of cool.
Sweet. All right. So what was that question you read before?
It was, what would our characters be doing during social distancing?
I mean, Shaka's cool with a room of puzzles, so he doesn't really need anyone to play them with. He will like design them and then try to solve them himself. So I actually think he would be pretty cool. He would just be designing a bunch of stuff and then trying to design harder stuff and doing that stuff. So I think that's what he'd be doing. He'd be in his room designing stuff.
Yeah. Well, I'll say that Perrin would probably have difficulty with it because Perrin's very extroverted. And so he would, he'd either want to be around a crowd or he'd want to be near them to gain information about things that are happening around town. And, just kind of being left alone, he's kind of helpless at that point.
Yeah.
Dahani would Dahani's used to having a very close knit group of people or birds around. Um, but at the same time, being able to fly kind of makes it a little bit easier for her. So, she could just be like 20 feet above everybody and just like having conversations and like, oh, you need this thing. She would be Dahani would be probably like delivery and helping out the people who are not able to go and do things for themselves because she can fly.
That's a really good point. Like, I guess, like, unless you came across another bird, then you gotta like make sure you're 6 feet apart,
Right.
flying past each other.
Right.
Like,
It's like as soon as you see each other, it's like, oh, hold on, let's we gotta.
Right.
yeah, like y'all basically need like a flight controller, like
Exactly.
like a FAA to direct y'all all around.
But yeah, no, she would see a situation where her abilities would make her very useful for the situation. And like for example, we have a lot of disabled and immunocompromised people who can't get out and do things right now. She would be that for people, and she'd also be able to kick people's butts who buy too much toilet paper.
Right.
Fly over to Costco. Oh my
God.
Right. There's a bird diving straight for us.
Right. Stole my 24-pack.
It's Aarakocra swooping season.
Right.
Yeah. One of my actually, this goes into my favorite parts of the season was when Dahani, who was employed by this person,
just started kicking his butt,
goes and mercifully beats not the guy, but like one of the women that were employed. Like, she wasn't going to kill her, but it's just funny that she was employed by this family and just mercifully beats.
They are not living up to the non-existent contract that they gave me. The internal contract that Dahani has set for working for these people is slowly crumbling.
Right.
Yeah, I love it. Also, I want to acknowledge in the chat who said that. Who said that? Someone said that Knock Knock had a lot of growth potential.
Yes.
Ancient Red Dragon.
Yeah.
That was I might steal that for the show.
Yes.
And give myself credit for it. No, I would not do that. But I do like that though.
Yes.
And, might want to keep that in mind because might wrap around and in future episodes.
You never know.
Keep in mind, at the beginning of the season, we did bury Knock Knock. So
Knock Nut.
Knock Nut. Yeah.
And Corinne did say that we might have to come back. So,
all right.
Yeah. So, all right. Is there any other questions we had there? I don't think so.
I don't think there's anything else.
Yeah. So if you have any other questions, just like throw them in the chat. We'll stay on for a little bit longer. If people have questions, if not, we will depart.
We should do this more frequently. This was actually really, really great.
Yeah, I think with us, our schedules opening up as they have, there may be opportunities for these kinds of things.
I think that's the plan. I mean, we got to talk with. I don't know if D&D is planning on like rerunning our show at our time.
Right? Who knows? Who knows?
Or anything like that. We
I will be right back.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
It's
crazy
time.
I think a good way to connect with the crew, with the fans, and especially because like we know on the show that we only take in character questions,
Right.
But so this is a good chance to do both. What are your favorite cartoons? I think we talked a little bit about this, but I mentioned Batman the Animated Series. It's definitely up there.
Right.
So I'll acknowledge this by saying favorite is not best. I recognize that this cartoon does not stand the test of time.
Okay.
But since I was, as a kid, obsessed what Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh yeah, sure.
I would have to say that the late '80s Goofy,
Yeah, Cowabunga.
Yeah, like the Cowabunga pizza eating
Yeah.
turtles. Still my favorite. I did try to. I remember when like YouTube like became a thing and you could watch old cartoons on there.
Right.
I remember watching it and I was like, whoa. Like it's not great. If you count Avatar as a cartoon, that would absolutely be my number one. I don't know if that quite qualifies. Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yeah.
What were you talking about before I came back? What
Cartoons.
Yeah. Best cartoons was
Turtles.
Yeah. So like I said again, it's my favorite, not the best. But if Avatar counts, like that's not only one of my favorite cartoons, that's one of my favorite like pieces of media ever.
Right.
So
I haven't seen the last season of Avatar, The Fire Nation. I haven't seen it. I know everything that happens, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I started watching Avatar, but I've not finished. I don't think I made it through the first season. It was really good. I really enjoyed it. It was but yeah, I forget like things. Life came in the way, or got in the way, or whatever. Reef, favorite turtle.
I mean Donatello.
Oh yeah, that's on brand. That's on brand for you. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What's yours, Cicero?
My favorite turtle?
No, cartoon. Well, okay. Yeah,
and turtle.
I mean, look, Raphael. Like, duh.
Are you original cartoon Raph, or are you like movie?
No, so I was original cartoon. Like every iteration of Raphael, up until like these like more recent ones where I feel like most of the I think like the characters have been homogenized a little. Yeah, I've always gravitated towards Raph.
Nice. I think he's an interesting character because I feel like they've made him more and more like rebellious and more like I'm just with y'all because like I'm gonna go do my own thing.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Like how they're doing this character.
Yeah.
Latia, what's your favorite turtle?
I do not have a favorite turtle because I don't remember them enough.
Oh, okay.
All right. Okay. So Shredder, got it.
Yeah, there you go. Right, exactly.
No.
Yobo, what's his name?
No, if you're gonna do that to me, then my favorite character is going to be like April O'Neil.
All right, Casey Jones.
April.
Yeah.
She was, she's unfortunately a victim of that time where most female characters were pretty damselly. But like even in the, I never saw the recent. I know they made those movies. Like they made 2 movies. Like
so
in like the 2010s.
Yeah.
Which like I actually never saw, so I don't know how she was like portrayed in those.
It was what's her name from? It was a Michael Bay film, so it was what's her name in
Megan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did they give her more agency in those movies, or was
no? I mean, not really. But it was what was funny about the second one, especially. It was like they took the cartoon and made it a live action film. So it was terrible in all the same ways that the show was.
So I thought those movies were like more serious than the original cartoon.
No, the late 80s, early 90s ones, at least the first 2 were more serious than these.
Oh yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
I figured that these, especially being a Michael Bay movie, that they would go for these super dramatic like things, but
no. I
might check them out. I just never. Once I saw that Michael Bay was attached to it, I was like, all right, I'm good.
Yeah, no, they're like, I mean, if they're streaming somewhere, watch them.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Check it out.
So my favorite cartoons is like the list is. My favorite cartoon is basically whatever I'm watching that I continue to watch at that particular. Well, all right. So all right. My favorite cartoon of all time the one that impacted me the most was Robotech.
Okay.
Because up until that point, I had never seen a cartoon, because cartoons were for kids, right? So I'd never seen a show for kids where characters died.
Oh,
And like you watch G.I. Joe and everybody would be the best soldiers in the world and the best mercenaries in the world, but nobody could shoot anybody, right?
G.I. Joe movie, man.
Yeah. So cop out in that movie. So Duke was supposed to die in that film, and they instead decided not to kill him, and like dubbed in the portion where they were like, oh, he fell into a coma and he's okay at the end. So he was supposed to die, but he did not die. Robotech was the issue. I want to shout out a couple of cartoons that nobody knows about that they should know about. The Legend of the Galaxy Rangers.
Oh yeah, I never heard of that.
Yeah, Galaxy Rangers is amazing. And Bionic 6. Bionic 6 was
that does sound familiar.
Dumb television show, dumb cartoon with amazing action and really good animation for the time. Both really great shows that I enjoyed a lot.
I have written those down.
I know everybody was up on Transformers, but I was a GoBots fan. Back in the day. I liked the GoBots cartoon and the Transformer toys.
Really? You like the GoBots cartoon?
Yeah.
Oh,
I did.
Either one?
It was, I don't know why. I just liked the characters better, but I hated the toys. So like Transformers had cooler toys.
Yes, 100%.
But the GoBots toys were awful quality.
They were Chinatown bootleg quality. In fact, I think some of the ones that you buy in Chinatown, like the Chinatown version of Leader One, was die cast, and the Chinatown and the actual Leader One GoBot was plastic.
Dude, it was like cast on Canal Street. Like they made it there.
Yep.
There you go.
Yeah.
I didn't watch a lot of Transformers growing up. I had Beast Wars.
Oh yeah, sure.
Before school. So I was a big fan of Beast Wars.
Right.
Which technically isn't a cartoon, but it's
it was CG.
Yeah, it was CG like the way Reboot was, which I also love.
Reboot. Shout out to Bob. Shout out to Bob and Dot Matrix.
Yes.
They rebooted Reboot. Did you know that?
They did reboot.
Rebooted Reboot on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
And made it bad. Like Reboot started out as a kids as a animated cartoon, like a CG animated cartoon. And then like for kids, but then like by the second season, it turned into like this action drama.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah, like it shifted. It made a tonal shift that was very hard and abrupt, and I was there for it. It was so dope. It was so dope.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So we gotta watch some secret cartoons from Cicero.
Yeah.
Also, watch. Don't YouTube GoBots, because it also holds up even worse than
Turtles. GoBots was terrible then, yo.
I love
GoBots was horrible. You like bad things. Oh my gosh. Like it was terrible. Like that was the thing.
But I loved the I think her name was Crasher. It was like
yes.
Yeah. She was just like psychotic. Which I always thought was really weird to have on a kid's cartoon. I mean, she was literally like a psychopath.
Yeah.
Oh
man, yeah. Kids that openly like GoBots got mocked even by the geeks in school, like even the nerds.
I think one reason I got into GoBots too was because like when my mom would go to the store, them GoBots was mad cheap.
Yep. Yeah.
So you get GoBots toys.
Yeah.
This is what you getting.
Yeah.
You know, so I got in the cartoon through that.
So, one more cartoon that I have to shout out because it was a cartoon that I secretly watched that I know all of my male compatriots also secretly watched, but we never discussed it. And that is shout out to Jem and the Hologram.
Jem was awesome.
Yeah.
Jem was dope, but nobody copped to, well, at least in my friend group at my school. So the Jem would come on Channel 11 in between G.I. Joe, or either it was in between G.I. Joe and Transformers, or it was G.I. Joe Transformers, then Jem. And so, like, you're not turning the TV off. Like, that would take too much effort. Like, you just watch, you sit there, you watch it, and then you get into it. And they had songs, and it was all sorts of dumb stuff. But, like, we would come to school, and we would talk about what we saw on G.I. Joe and what we saw on Transformers. And then you would see the light in everybody's eyes to talk about what happened next, and knew immediately that you could not speak on Jem because Jem was for girls.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, man. Things were gendered real bad.
Yeah.
We talked about Jem, but only if we could talk about synergy.
Yes.
We literally only talk about the computer.
Oh, really? Yeah, the sci-fi part of it.
We never talk about the plot lines or like Misfits or that kind of stuff. But like we actually did like a couple years ago, Black Girl Nerds did like a Jem rewatch.
Oh, dope.
That was like live tweeted and everything. I remember watching a couple episodes. That show is hilarious. Like in the wrong reasons. Right. But it is hilarious. Like it's just, I mean, watching like the toys that made us and the movies that made us give me so much insight on how adults thought kids thought, and like how, you know, and like why they made stuff so crappy. You know, it's like pretty amazing. You know, so like they can't get away with that now, which is why we get such like the cartoons now are like unequivocally better.
Yes, 100%.
Unequivocally.
Yeah.
You know, but like that, like nostalgia is like a trip. Vehicle Voltron or Lion Voltron? That's a question from Raven. I mean, I'm definitely going Lions for sure. Yeah, I'm definitely going Lions.
So Vehicle Voltron was, so I had a piece of the Vehicle Voltron, the actual toy. I also had the die-cast metal Lion Voltron.
Wow.
Yeah, my parents spent money on it and I lost it in the backyard. I don't know how I did that, but
oh wow.
Yeah.
For that.
Oh, I don't think they ever found out. But yeah, but goodness. But I had like one, like the chest section or the head section of the Vehicle Voltron. Vehicle Voltron was dope because there were so many of them. Lion Voltron was the one that I consumed the most, but those stories were so whack. It was the same thing every single week. The, you know, same Power Ranger type of stories without the B plot, right? It was just the lions were there. The bad dude would send a RoW beast. Then the RoW beast would come and they would fight the lions. The lions would get their butts kicked. Then they would form Voltron, dun, 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 and then they would fight. And then they would, you know, like they'd almost beat him, but then he would get him real hard. And then they would form Blazing Sword, and they formed the Blazing Sword, and they swiped once, and it would flash, and then it was over. They would explode. That was the end of it. Yeah. Rinse and repeat next week.
Yes, it was definitely a cycle.
Yeah,
but I remember like I had some Voltron, and my friends had like others, so we could only make the full Voltron when we would.
You guys got together.
And I don't know if kids even still do this, where you bring all your toys and you go to your boy house and like you line them all up and you just have these huge battles or whatever. That's what we used to do.
Yeah, no, so you don't do that now.
The way that we could form Voltron was we put it together.
If, that's how I play. How I play now with my friends. If I'm a kid, is I stay at home. And then I hit them on Xbox or PlayStation, and then we play Fortnite.
Yeah. Yeah. Are you or were you a Voltron fan, Latia?
No, I think Voltron was a little bit before I was old enough to like understand
Okay,
things.
gotcha.
Yeah, yeah,
I was a Power Rangers girl.
yeah.
Okay.
Same difference.
Yeah, yeah. I know that they're generally the same, but
Right.
I just never
Yeah,
watched
Yeah,
Voltron. I was
yeah,
yeah. Well,
Power
no.
Rangers and
To Cicio's point though, they did have that B plot. Like they had
right.
going to
yeah,
school, and they had all those plots outside of the fighting.
outside of the monster is here, let's fight it.
Right,
Yeah,
right,
yeah. So,
right. Yeah,
all
that was it.
right. I think
Yeah,
that is it.
yeah. That's gonna be it because I'm gonna go eat some ribs.
All right, did you bring enough ribs
Hey,
for Latia now?
Yeah, yeah. I got
I'm sorry.
exactly.
Say what?
I got a whole rack.
All right.
Oh
Yeah,
dang!
I got a whole rack of ribs.
All right. So yeah.
I got collard greens and cornbread downstairs.
Oh, so you bring those over and we be good.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
I have nothing right now, but
Ooh.
I'm gonna cook some. Yeah. So if y'all like this, just like let us know. Either tweet at us,
Yeah,
or just like hit us up at Rivals Waterdeep on Twitter. If you don't listen to the show, then we normally stream live on Sundays at noon. That's been paused until we figure out what's going on. But you can always catch the archives. Either search like your podcast reader for Rivals of Waterdeep. I just uploaded the latest episode today, so that's
perfect.
on the audio feed. And if you go to the YouTube Dungeons and Dragons page, there's a Rivals of Waterdeep link there as well. So like that has all 58 episodes are on the YouTube playlist and the audio podcast. So like you can check out any one of those. Anything anybody want to say before we peace out?
Yeah, I just want to say, thanks everybody for coming to the stream. Be healthy, try and stay healthy. And if you have gotten sick, one thing that I want to say is it's not your fault. You haven't done anything wrong.
Mm-hmm.
There is a virus going around and there will be a lot of people that get sick, and it's not because you've done something terrible. If you are sick, if you're not sick, try and stay healthy. If you are sick, just do what you need to do in order to get better. And don't feel like you've done something wrong just because you have gotten sick.
Yep.
For sure. Anything else?
Yeah.
No, I thank y'all for having me. I'm never gonna stop saying this. Like we'll be 15 seasons in and I'm still gonna be amazed that y'all decided to bring me onto the cast.
Oh,
But this was
Tia confirmed 15 seasons.
There you go. There it is.
Sign the contract.
I'm playing chess. But no, I'm very grateful to be a part of this family. I'm very grateful to have y'all as friends. This was a lot of fun, and I definitely want to do this. I mean, even it doesn't even have to be about D&D. We can
Yeah,
just
it can
like
be about whatever.
we can just shoot the shit, and it's gonna be a whole lot of fun. So
Absolutely.
So like if y'all think we should do something more regular or whatever, just like let us know, because this is just an experiment. We just wanted to bring y'all something since we know that we might not have shows. So we don't know when we'll be able to finish the actual season. So have a great day, everybody. Night, or I don't know what time zone y'all are in, day or night. But yeah, and stay safe.
Are we going to have a VOD of this? Is it going to be up? Someone asked about that.
I mean, like the VOD will be on the Rivals Twitch channel.
Sure.
I don't think we have a Rivals YouTube channel.
I don't.
But we do have a Gmail account, so we can set up a Rivals YouTube channel.
There you go.
So yeah, it'll definitely be on Twitch, and we'll tweet out the Twitch link.
Yeah.
Apparently
we do have a Rivals YouTube channel.
And like also y'all, massive love out to Tanya as well.
Right. Yeah.
Like she's
Cora's in the way.
Right.
We love you, Tanya.
Going through some things, and just like send her your love,
right?
Like we send you our love, Tanya, for sure. Because as you heard us all say, you got us all together.
Yep.
So it's cool. All right. So we're out. Have a
Yeah.
great.
Yep. Have a good night, everybody.
Peace.
Peace.